What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this video here, we're going to be taking Galactus in against, or Gladiator in against Galactus. I'm getting back and forth here. If we had Galactus, that would be awesome if we could have him as a playable character, but no, not quite yet. So, Gladiator against Galactus. I don't really know why I got him to level 70. I just was kind of working on him on the side. Just every once in a while I would give him a few attempts at rolling his potential, and if it happened to work, then I'd rank him up. If not, then I just left him sit for a while. So yeah, he was just kind of a character I was working on the side because I liked his survivability. His damage is good in kind of like Shadowland type content, but not super great in World Boss Ultimate and in GBR, as you will see shortly. So he's definitely not going to be a very strong pick for GBR. He does okay in there, but he's not as good as I thought he was going to be. But anyway, that'll be saved for when we get into the clip of the gameplay. Now we need to look at his build here. We have no Urus on him, and I haven't ranked up any of his gears past 20. For his skills, we have 3, 4, and 5 leveled up. We haven't done anything with the type enhancement. And then we have Overdrive, stage 6, and we have a max HP 140 proc. Maybe that's why he wasn't hitting super hard. Maybe we need to get a better obelisk on him, but yeah, that's just what he's sitting with right now, and of course no uniform. And with this skill rotation, he's actually not the best for a regular obelisk, because you have a lot of skills that you want to stack up the effects on, because 3 here, you want the accumulation, 4, you want this big buff, and 5 you kind of want to use for the damage. So you have all these skills that you want to stack up the effects on, but they have long skill animations and also have a lot of hits, so they trigger your obelisk very easily, so it's hard to get all of those effects going on during one skill with your damage proc active. So he is more suited for either just a defensive build, so just go straight defensive build and don't worry about having a proc, or a CTP of Rage, which where he is currently with the power level, with his power level, I wouldn't really recommend a CTP of Rage. So he's just kind of a fun character to play around with for Shadowland, and he can do okay in terms of Alliance Conquest and somewhat in PvP for a timeline battle, provided you have a defensive build on him, because he has really good survivability. But yeah, that's enough for the intro there. Actually, let's show off the details here. So those are the stats. So now let's go ahead and hop into the gameplay and see how he did against Galactus. Alright, so here we are loading into the fight. We got 2 random teammates here, one that's not going to do very much, and then we have one with a tier 3 Odin that is going to be helping us out and pretty much carrying us through this entire fight here, because that Odin turned out to be pretty dang strong. But anyway, the team I'm using here for Gladiator is pretty much the best team I think you can get for him in terms of buffing up his damage, and that's going to be Coulson and White Fox, because he does have the leadership tag, so we can use White Fox here for that extra damage. And yeah, he definitely needed that to really kind of put a dent into Galactus here, because most of that damage that you're seeing right there is from the Odin, which is not too much of a surprise. I was expecting a little bit better from Gladiator here, being a native tier 2 and all, but at the same time he seemed like he was more of a kind of defensive character and not necessarily a offensive character, because he has really good survivability. He does hit hard enough, of course, for like Shadowland stages and some like mid stages in World Boss Ultimate, but for GBR here, he doesn't have the raw damage that I was looking for. And plus, like I said, he's kind of hard to use with a regular obelisk or a regular damage proc obelisk, just because you want to get all of the effects stacked up to really get his damage to start increasing. And yeah, you have to get all 3 of those skills active to do that, and they're all on very long cooldowns, and they all have a lot of hits on their animations, so a lot of things there that don't really go well with a regular damage proc. So that was one thing that probably hurt him a little bit here against Galactus, because I'm thinking with a CTP of Rage, he's probably going to hit really, really hard, but I didn't really want to give him a CTP of Rage just to try him out against Galactus here, because I'm pretty sure I wouldn't keep that on him, because there's a lot more characters that I would prefer to have my CTP of Rage on. But yeah, look at this. Odin is like destroying Galactus here, so he definitely has a Rage on his Odin. But the question is, how much damage is my Gladiator actually doing here? Yeah, well, there you go. That answers that question. He's doing like 10% of the damage compared to the Odin. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place with my damage proc here. Generally, I think I'm proccing on the 4th skill, but ideally I'd like to proc on the 5th skill because it does more damage and it has a few more hits, but the 4th skill is on that 7-second cooldown, and it seems to be lining up on the 4th skill every time I'm kind of doing the rotation here. I'm just canceling out the 3rd skill for the buff, so I'm not usually letting the 3rd skill play out. And then I'm trying to just go into the 4th skill for that buff, and then if my obelisk hasn't procced, I just go into the 5th skill. But if the obelisk procs when I'm at the start of the 4th skill, then I will let the 4th skill play out and try to get that damage there. So anyway, let's see what kind of damage our Gladiator did here. The Odin doing 90% of the damage, so I was about right. We did about 10% of the damage. So 2.5 minutes there, we did 7 million damage, and I was like, 7 million damage? That doesn't seem like much, but I was like, wait, 2.5 minutes, let's see. So if that was a 10-minute fight, we can multiply that by 4 times, so we get 28 million, and 28 million is actually enough damage to do 1/3 of Galactus's health, or over 1/3 of Galactus's health, because you need about 23 million to do 1/3 of his health, so that worked out just fine. So Gladiator actually could fight Galactus here with the current build that I have. So the bar that I like to go by is if I had 2 other characters with the exact same team that I had. So Gladiator, White Fox, and Coulson with the same damage proc. Obelisk, could we beat Galactus with the 3 of us attacking him? And the answer would be yes in this case. So Galactus could do this with 2 other Galactus, or what am I saying? Galactus, Gladiator. Okay, have I been saying Galactus every time I meant Gladiator this whole video? That'll be kind of annoying if I did. Gladiator. So if there were 2 other Gladiators that were the same build and same team, we would be able to take down Galactus. So anyway, that took me a lot longer to say that than I was expecting, but that'll be it for this video here. So hopefully you enjoyed nonetheless, and I will catch you guys in the next video.